Here.
Councilman Arcomando. Unfortunately, Councilman Arcomando is unable to be here this evening. Councilwoman Sanchez.
Here.
Councilwoman Mazur is also unable to be here this evening due to illness.
But will be participating by phone. Correct?
Yes, correct. Council President Garrett.
Here. Please rise for a salute to the flag and remain standing as we remember the lives lost on September 11th, 2001. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The meeting is open to the public. Please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everyone. Thomas Van Winkle, 128 Lincoln Avenue, Saddlebrook. Just want to bring you up to date on the Mayor's Youth Group and bring everybody who's watching up to date on the Mayor's Youth Group as well. To begin, I want to thank the Mayor's Youth Group members who came out and helped out at the Brook Township picnic back in August. They did a tremendous job helping to serve the food and drinks and beverages and whatever else any of the seniors, anybody else in attendance needed from the Mayor's Youth Group. And I was very impressed with how smooth everything went with the food, everything with the catering company we brought in to serve the food, all the tents we had. And I want to thank them for being so accommodating to the Mayor's Youth Group and allowing us a tent to basically go and keep getting food and bringing it to everybody in attendance, and just made everything so efficient. So I hope, and again, I know everybody enjoyed the picnic, and I want to thank you all for making that possible. Looking ahead, now that we're in a new school year, hopefully everybody has had a good start to the new school year. We're looking, as always, for new members for the Mayor's Youth Group. On our website, sbmyg.weebly.com. We have our online registration form for the Mayor's Youth Group up for anybody who wants to sign up. You could also reach out to Mayor White Secretary Christine Januario here at Town Hall. We're open to any Saddlebrook youth in grades 4 through 12 to join the Mayor's Youth Group. It's a great opportunity for community service and just to be involved in our town, to be involved in our community. The next thing we're looking to do is to help out with the fishing derby, which was rescheduled from June, which is now going to be on Saturday, September the 27th. And hopefully in the future, we'll schedule our next meeting, hopefully sometime in October. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Thomas.
On the water rates every year.
Name and address, please, for the record.
That's not legally required, name and address.
No, you have to get the town.
It's not in the Open Public Meetings Act, it's not an ordinance, it's not an amendment, it's not in the Constitution either, it's not a requirement. I could be homeless here, I could be from another country, it's a public meeting, it's not a requirement.
It's a requirement to
Nope.
give the town, you don't have to give the street address. Yes, it is. That's the law. You
Okay,
have to state your name and the town you're from. That's
what law is that from? The Open Public Meetings Act, the ordinance?
The law-
That's not,
The
nope.
Open Public Meetings Act doesn't address
You
at
do
all
not.
what a citizen has to say when they come to the microphone. What it says is that a citizen has a right to be present during a public meeting. In
Right.
fact, the Open Public Meeting Act doesn't even say that you should have questions that have to be answered.
Right.
It says you
It
have a
says-
right to be present and.
Right, nothing
witness
about my
what takes
address.
place.
I live on 8th Street anyway, so every year we're gonna raise the water rates $250,000 a year. So it's $250K last year, $250K this year. It's gonna be $250K every year, so we're gonna have a $3 or $4 million water account in 7 or 8 years. The first district paving I guess we're not going to pave in fall and winter, so that legal obligation by PSE&G when they do a certain district to be paved in 9 and 10 months, where's the oversight and accountability on that? Because it's less than 12 months. I spoke to 2 foremen and 2 employees. They have 9 and 10 months to complete the whole district. So that's, I guess it's not going to get done. Maybe it'll get done in 18 months, 24 months. And any update on 9395 Market Street, the 4 stories, 60 units? You guys said you're moving forward with the applicant. Then you said you're negotiating with 3 or 4 people. Now you said you're back with the same applicant and you're trying to do some negotiation. And in terms of the affordable housing number, that's 279 units. What's the negotiated number down to? 200, 150, 100? I mean, we have 60 units on Roswell Lane, 60 units on Market Street, 279. That's 399 units already. And when we have all 9 marijuana facilities up and running, what's going to be the tax decrease per household in town? Let's say they all do $250,000 a year times 9 facilities. That's going to save a homeowner $30, $40, $50 a year. I think you guys have done that math, so I'd like that number. Last but not least, whenever there's a working session and 50 or 100 people show up, if there's 100 people today, are you guys always going to summon 4 or 5 police officers to stand in the back? Do you guys not want people to attend work sessions, council meetings? Do you not want nobody here at all so you guys could pass ordinances, resolutions, budgets that are middle of the year that should have been passed 9 months ago? And any comment at all about the several video edits that were made in the last few months? Because there was at least 2 of them, and that's was pretty shocking to see. I don't think we ever had multiple video edits in a council meeting in the 20, 30 years that they've been recorded. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council?
Hi, Sylvia Zattarelli, 236 Lanza Ave. I would just like some clarification on the assessment fee, whatever you want to call it, on the water bills. I know you're going to say you voted on it, nobody was here, whatever. I would just like to know, is that going to be every quarter? Is it just once? And what is it for? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing no one else, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we had some questions from the public. We had a couple residents with the water bill. Mayor, would you like to speak about the water bill and the service fee?
Yes. I'm going to read what I wrote down. Several people have asked about the water rate and the service fee, and I have responded to them. And basically, as far as the ordinance goes, we weren't hiding anything. Went exactly the way every ordinance goes. We established the rates. Back in May, there was an ordinance adopted. By law, all ordinances must be published in the newspaper. Additionally, the ordinance was available on our town website and social media pages. So it wasn't hidden. We didn't receive any questions about it. All ordinances are also included on meeting minutes, agenda, and shared through our website and our social media platforms. Adoption of an ordinance mandates 2 public meetings, with the second meeting requiring a public hearing. Now, it was May, June, so people weren't away on vacation. I believe some of the people in this room were here, didn't question it. The second hearing allows public comment. No one commented. Furthermore, the minutes from the meeting accurately reflect all council actions. Public meetings can be viewed on public access cable channel and on YouTube.
Mayor, do you have your microphone on?
Yes, it's on. I think I'm a little back.
Okay.
You can't hear me? turned up.
Okay.
Is that one working good?
I'm not sure.
Probably.
Rob?
Was, there it is. Okay. It was advertised, it was done according to law. The only thing that I can say, now it's too loud. The only thing that I can say is that, and people did complain that they would have liked a notice to go out, to be mailed out, or maybe with the water bill. You know, for a little bit more transparency, so people would have known what it was all about. I'll give you that. You know, what that, I can agree that that might have been more helpful, it might have been more transparent. It wasn't done for that reason. I wish now maybe we would have done that. But I know what would have happened. If we did that, we still would have got calls, okay? It would have been better, because at least we could say, hey, we sent it out, we gave notice, you know, other than what we had to do legally by ordinance and all the things I stated. But that wasn't done, so we have to move on from that. So that's my only regret as far as that goes. But as far as what the fee is essential. You know, the township chief financial officer informed us that our water utility was starting to operate at a deficit. And this was last year, it started last year. During the COVID-19 pandemic and in the years following that, the town absorbed increased water costs instead of passing them on to residents. However, this approach is no longer sustainable. And that was the mistake. If you want to know, that was the mistake. Because contrary to what some might believe, we don't like to raise rates. It doesn't help us, but it helps sustain the town. You know, we don't want to raise taxes. We don't want to raise water rates, but we have to do it. The money's not being used frivolously. You know, I mean, it really isn't. I mean, it's needed to run the town and to run the utility. Now, Mrs. Ottarelli mentioned about, you know, what it was for, you know, what that service fee is used for, the cost of water main repairs and replacement, removal of lead lines, which we're required to do, maintenance, state required testing that we have to do, we're required to do that, that comes out of that, and all other operational expenses. So we feel these measures will contribute to improving the water quality, the water system, and the overall infrastructure. We do have our own, I don't know if any of you know, but we do have our own water utility. So we purchase water from Veolia, but as far as the system, the water system, the pipes, we're responsible for that. We own that. So if there's a water main break, we have to fix it. If it's a bad break that our DPW is incapable of fixing, and they do a great job, they do most of them. But sometimes you get a major one or a big problem, and we need to call out a contractor that does that for a living. So, you know, and it adds up. There's a lot of that. And as far as the testing, you know, we have monthly, we have the test. There's fees involved. So, and it's also important to note that most other municipalities do have some kind of fee, some kind of service fee. And as far as our water rate and what the residents pay, if you look around, and I know Pete, you know, he might have some numbers, and Pete wants to chime in a minute, but you know, what you pay for water is no more, and it's probably less, in most cases less. Some towns, like Lodi, they also have a sewer fee. We don't have that fee. So, you know, we're not trying, believe me, we're not trying to go out of our way to slam the public. And I know to somebody that's struggling, it's difficult. it's very difficult, and we keep that in mind. We try to do our best. So that's the response on the water. I don't know if anybody else, Pete, you want to mention some?
Oh, she wants, I think she, part of the question was about quarterly, is it?
I'm sorry, yes, I wrote that down too. It's a quarterly fee. It's a quarterly fee. And it depends on the size of your water meter. So if you have, I believe if it's a 3/4 inch water meter, it's $20. 1 inch is $25, and it goes up. Like the bigger businesses that have larger meters with larger pipes, it goes up accordingly.
Mayor, just some of the rates that we surveyed, some of our surrounding towns that have a water system like us. As you mentioned, Lodi charges a sewer fee, which is about half of the water bill. Garfield charges quarterly fees based on meter size and whether they're 1 family, 2 family, 3 family, 4 family, commercial, church, school, parochial schools, library, and municipal building. Fairlawn charges $25 a quarter, and Wallington charges a fee, but their cost per cubic feet is substantially higher than ours. So basically, it's fees with the surrounding communities.
I also want to mention too, that the town and the schools don't pay for water. They don't, and we absorb that, just so you know. The schools, I think we got Mr. DeJulia here, there is 1 meter, there's 1 meter at Washington School, and that was put in years ago. I don't know if you recall when Maywood was using Washington School for a little while. So we put at the time, I believe it was Mayor Santa Lucia, I believe.
Yes.
And they put in the meter, but that's the only school that has a meter. But we pay for that because there's a big, huge meter somewhere before the water comes into town that, the town pays for it. So I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, there's been thought, and we've been approached by Veolia to buy our water system. And as Chief Kugler, former chief, I know him as Chief Kugler, I know his father was a councilman, was mayor, 2-term mayor here years ago. I know that your father always said, don't sell it, because there's been, we could probably sell it for a few $1 million, but I think in the end, we're better off, keeping our own. So we just got to get through this. I do believe now there's not going to be any more increases. I think this should sustain us. That's what our CFO was saying.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Another question that was asked was about the road paving in District 1. Do you know?
Public Service had initially said they were going to do some paving in the fall and some in the spring. There is some paving we want them to put off because we want to do our own work on those streets, the tree streets, for example. But that schedule has not been finalized by PSE&G yet, but I'll follow up with them.
Okay, thank you. A question was asked about the old municipal building and the affordable housing obligation. John?
For that building?
No, just in general, affordable housing.
Well, the affordable housing litigation, at this point, we are waiting for the court to assign a mediator to see if there can be a resolution reached between the town, the township, and the challenge to the assessment that has been made as to the number of affordable housing units. That's supposed to take place, I believe, within the next 60 days, so I think someone will be assigned in the very near future, and we'll see if that number can finally be finalized and the township can secure its 4th round certification. Again, we are contesting the number of units, and I think we're confident that the number will be reduced somewhat. There still will be an obligation, but maybe not quite the number that has been initially assigned to the township. With respect to Market Street, quite frankly, I don't understand why there's so much misinformation that's being spread when everything with respect to that project has been at a public meeting, televised, and in the minutes. So just to clear up some misstatements that were made here this evening, yes, at one time, developers had approached the township about projects that exceeded 100 units. The governing body told them, don't even do a presentation because there was no interest in a project with that much density. Another developer actually appeared here with a 60-unit project in retail space, but the residents of Harrison Street, and I'm generalizing, but there seemed to be a consensus that they would prefer no retail. So the township told the developer that they're not interested in any retail space in the development. And there were other concerns raised by Harrison Street with respect to height, setback, access. The most recent presentation addressed most of those concerns. The height is not 4 stories because the most recent developer who appeared is having a significant part of the parking all underground. If the parking was above ground, it would probably be a 4-story building, but with parking underground, it's more a 2 to 2.5-story building. That, and also, and I know some of the people who were probably here at that meeting, you heard the presentation about the roof being reduced. So the height, in light of the concerns from the Harrison Street residents, has been reduced. I believe it's in the 35-foot range, but don't hold me to the exact number. I don't have it in front of me. But it's certainly less than what was being suggested by other developers of the project, significantly less in some cases. Access will only be from Market Street. That was another concern of the Harrison Avenue residents. They didn't like the idea that cars would be coming in and out of the facility and using Market Street, using Harrison Avenue. There is no ingress or egress from the site other than from Market Street. As to landscaping, there would be significant landscaping in the rear of the building to serve as a buffer between the rear of the building and the Harrison residents. The plans have not been finalized because at the most recent presentation, the Harrison Avenue residents did raise some other concerns, which are being looked into by the developer to see what, if anything else, can be done with respect to their proposal. The next step for the township is to ascertain what the fair market value of the property is, and to get that determination, we need input from our tax assessor, from our engineer, and probably from our appraisal company expert as well. And those numbers are being worked on, and they will be given to us. At that point in time, there'll be a negotiation with the developer, and if further revisions are being made to the project, he will come back and present to the governing body what those revisions are. Again, all this information has been made public, so for statements to be made contrary to what I just stated actually is just an attempt to mislead the public, because there's no other way to explain why information that has been memorialized at a meeting and presented at a meeting would be distorted in repeating it.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. In regards to the cannabis, we have 3 resolutions for retail, 3 resolutions for manufacturing, 3 resolutions for cultivation. Due to increased competition, I don't think the market is what people thought the market was going to be. Correct me, Jimmy, if I'm wrong. Did we take any of that into account with our budget in regards to what we were going to receive?
No, and then also you, per state financial laws, you can't anticipate any of that money because it's new revenue. So we only can anticipate what we received prior year. So with that being unknown, it's almost impossible to tell. Plus the fact that we only have, of all those licenses, only one currently operating at this time.
Correct. And I think what people thought was when that law became law, when they passed that law, everybody thought it was going to be a gold mine. It was like going out and, mining gold, and everybody thought they were going to become millionaires and everything. I think now they're seeing with shops in Elmwood Park, Lodi, Hackensack, Rochelle Park, and if you drive past and you see how many cars are there, there's very few cars there. And that's because sales aren't very good. So what the other resolution holders are going to do, we reached out to them. I'm not sure if we got anything back from them. But as far as I'm concerned, with the amount of competition that's out there, maybe manufacturing, maybe cultivation, there'll be more money. But if people feel like they're not going to make money, they're not going to open the front door, in my opinion. So we're not really anticipating any of that money coming in, thank goodness. So it's been very, very slow on that front. What's going to happen 3, 4, 5 months from now, we have to reach out and see. I know the other ones that have the retail would like to open up, but I'm telling myself that if they feel like they're not going to make money, they're not going to open the door, It's not cheap to do that. And I learned a lot about what happens. When they buy the product and then they retail and sell it, they have to pay tax on the whole amount. They can't write off salaries and insurance and all that like a normal business. So they're paying a tremendous amount in taxes. It's really a difficult business to navigate unless you really know that business. So your guess is as good as mine, but I don't foresee anything happening in the near future with that, to be honest with you. In regards to the video editing, Bob, could you talk about that? I don't know about anything video that was edited.
I only know about the one incident, and it really wasn't editing. It wasn't edited. What had happened, and our videographer is here, Raphael from La Costa. What had happened was, I believe it was the budget adoption meeting in July. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which meeting it was, but it was one of the recent ones. I believe that was it. And what happens is Raphael uploads the video, like tonight's video, onto YouTube. And then he takes from YouTube and puts it on the town television, okay? And there's a computer that does that. So when he uploaded it, it uploaded a certain amount, and then it just ended. So where, I don't know how long the meeting was, but if the meeting was an hour, it only about, and I probably Sylvia will know better than me because, yeah, so about 6 minutes into it, it just stopped. So I informed, when I found that out, I didn't know that, because when I watch it, if you watched it on YouTube, the whole thing was there. It just didn't upload right to the TV station. So I told Raphael that, and he had to do it over again, and now it's fine. So,
All right.
but yeah, as far as that goes, I just want to, well, I'm remembering, now with all this in mind, I started, I had asked Raphael because, I don't really watch the TV that much. I'll be honest, I don't. But I had, somebody had mentioned to me that they hadn't seen the Board of Ed meetings on there either. So, I was wondering what happened with it, and I asked Raphael, and apparently we haven't been getting the meetings from the Board of Ed, from whoever, I guess there was a person that was giving them or sending them to Raphael, and there's a new person or whatever, but he's not getting them. And you know what, and I'm not blaming the Board of Ed, believe me, but I'd like to, Sylvia, since you're here, and I was gonna contact Tony about it too, superintendent, it's something it's a good thing. But yours are on YouTube as well, so, but we weren't trying to hide them or do anything like that, so. What's that? Yeah, well, ours are too now. That's been recent, a recent development within the last 6 months to a year. So, the other thing I want to mention about the 4 or 5 police officers, I believe that was the last meeting, and it was the meeting where the developer did his presentation, and I know that the police officers were concerned and interested about the parking. So I think some of them came on their own, the chief came. So I wanted, I had asked, and I've also told Chief Sotolo when he became chief, I always want a command level person here because a lot of times residents have questions and they're police related, and I don't always have the answer. We have a chief of police, does a great job. We have a great police department and, great command staff, and they're more capable of answering than I am. So I like them to be here. Tonight we have Captain Haberman here, and we're glad we have him here. But I don't know if, we're not trying to flood, the meetings with police officers to, for any other reason, but, to have somebody here, we always usually have a special, but we don't need a special if we have a commander. I mean, perhaps, maybe we can ask the chief to have one of the captains or himself come in a suit. Would that maybe make people feel better? I don't know.
Well, Mayor, not for anything, but I don't think having the police here hindered anyone from speaking. They certainly.
No, we had plenty of speakers. That was fine.
Yeah, that's true too, so.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
I think we
I
covered
think we
everything.
covered everything.
Everything
That's
on my
very-
list.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Mayor, your comments
Yes.
this evening?
I first have a proclamation that I want to read. This month is, well, partially from September 15th to October 15th is National Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. So whereas the Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month celebrates and highlights the countless achievements in the Hispanic and Latino community. The observation began in 1968 and was enacted into federal law on August 17, 1988. Hispanics have enhanced and shaped our national character with old traditions that reflect the multi-ethnic and multicultural customs of their community. So now therefore be it resolved that I, Robert D. White, the mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2025 as National Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. I encourage our community to join us in celebrating the great contributions Hispanic and Latino Americans have made in our township, state, and nation. Saddlebrook mirrors the county. The county numbers are just about 25% Hispanic now, and Saddlebrook is a little under that. And we've had an increase. We were, about 5 years ago, we were about 18%, So the budget, we talked about the water fee. The final taxes will be coming out at the end of the month. I have a letter that I wrote in there regarding the taxes, and it should be mailed out again at the end of September. So please read the letter. It has important information. And a reminder, the Anchor, Senior Freeze, and Stay New Jersey tax relief programs, the application must be filed with the state of New Jersey by October 31st. If you don't know about it, go on nj.gov and look. It's worthwhile. I know myself, I told my son about it last year. He didn't know a thing about it, and he went and for the Anchor, and he ended up getting, I think, $1,000 back. So it's definitely worthwhile. And certainly the Senior Freeze, please. I can't tell you how many, how valuable that is, and how many seniors, for some reason, don't, they don't know about it. And it really helps. Ordinances and resolutions, we have several ordinances on tonight for second reading. I'm going to mention them. We have an ordinance to fix the salary and wages of employees. That's a second reading. We also have a second reading on a special emergency appropriation of $30,000 for the preparation of stormwater system mapping, which is required by the state. Second reading also on water mains and related improvements in the area of Maple, Spruce, Larch, and Pine Avenue, which is appropriating $360,000 to pay for that. That we've been doing for a while now between Midland and Fairlawn Parkway. There's a problem where we have to loop in the water, and we've been doing it as we've been paving the roads. We're also going to be paving those streets as well. So we want to do that before we pave the streets. There's a second reading on an ordinance undertaking various park and recreation improvements. We got a lot of state and county grants on this. There's 4 different things that we're doing. Mayhill Street, we're doing the tennis courts, resurfacing the tennis courts and relining them. And we're also going to remove one of the tennis courts and make 2 pickleball courts out of it. We're also doing Kern Street Park. We're going to put in a new playground, which is in dire need. It hasn't been done in 25 years. Fifth Street Park, we're going to make a little parking area and also a basketball court there, a full-size basketball court. And then lastly, and this is, we've been talking about this for a while, we recently got quite a bit of money, $575,000 from the state to do a splash park at Veterans Field. We're going to be demolishing the house that's there, which isn't really useful anymore, and we're going to be putting it there. Also, lastly, a bond ordinance for improvements and major repairs to fire engine and acquisition of new additional replacement equipment, machinery, new communication, IT equipment, signal systems equipment, and some vehicles, automobiles. So those are the ordinances that we have on tonight. So in August, we had a lot of events. We had the town picnic, Thomas mentioned it, Saturday, August 23rd. The mayor's walk, it was in the morning. We had a beautiful day. We went with this year we went with a vendor to do the food instead of the food trucks, and it really worked out very well. So it was a successful picnic, and I want to thank all of our sponsors. There's a sign back there that lists all of them. Thank you very much for those donations. It really helps us defray some of the cost of the picnic. And it is free to all residents. I want to also thank the police, fire, ambulance, DPW, recreation department, Andy and Diane, Andy Gallo and Diane Bonner, certainly Shannon Nakamundo and Christine Januario of our projects and activities committee. So it was all in all, it was a very, very nice day. I want to mention the high school field dedication with the Saddlebrook. There was also Saddlebrook High School team had their first home night game. That was September 5th. It was a very, very nice evening. I want to commend the school district. They did a fabulous job on that field. It looks beautiful and long time coming. The kids and their families deserve that. And all the other work being done too as well it seems to be going very, very, very well. And it's all needed. 9/11 ceremony was Thursday, September 11th. I want to thank all our first responders for attending. Father Bruce from St. Philip's gave prayers. Thank him. Lydia Diaz sang God Bless America. Frank Ortega and the middle school, high school band were here, and they did some songs. We had Assemblywoman Lisa Swain and Congresswoman Nellie Poe were here. Thank you for attending. On Saturday, September 6th, we had a sensory-friendly car show that was done in coordination with the Saddlebrook Angels, Legacy Empowerment, and the Community Partnership Committee. I want to thank the organizers, the Maniscalco family and Legacy Empowerment for organizing it. We got some upcoming events, quite a few. This Sunday, we have the Senior Pancake Breakfast at 9 a.m. at the Senior Center. On Saturday, September 27th, we have the Mayor's Fishing Contest at the Otto Paley Park from 9 to 12. That was, we usually hold that in June, but it was rained out, so we wanted to have it in September. We wanted to make sure that we had it this year. The kids really enjoy it. Sunday, September 28th is the Unico Street Fair, Market Street from Westminster to Mayhill from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's always a nice event. Unico does a great job with that. Saturday, October 4th is a shredding event here at the Municipal Complex, 9 to 1. Sunday, October 5th, Mount Virgin Car Show. It was postponed due to weather, but it's going to be at the Municipal Complex here on Sunday, October 5th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. October 5th to October 11th is Fire Prevention Week. Please support our volunteers during their annual calendar drive. That's when they usually do it. On Monday, October 13th is Columbus Day. The DBW and municipal offices will be closed. Section 1 pickup, which is the north end, will be Friday, October 17th. Tuesday, October 14th is the last day to register to vote for the November general election. The clerk's office, Pete, will be open until 9 p.m. for voter registration. Also, that night, you can pick up leaf bags. They'll be available beginning October 14th here at the Municipal Complex. And then also every day after that, every working day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9. Well, 8:30 to 4. I'm sorry. 9 o'clock will be on that last day of voter registration. There's we got a pretty good supply, but 10 bags per homeowner. We also have a townwide garage sale October 17th to the 19th. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Sanchez.
Hi. I wasn't able to make it to the 9/11 ceremony because I was feeling under the weather. So I just wanted to take a second and recognize and acknowledge and thank all the first responders, who were there that day and who lost their lives that day and who continue to lose their lives because of all the medical issues due to what happened on 9/11. And just thank all first responders in general who are currently serving their communities every day.
Councilman Simaluka.
Stand up here. I was at the 9/11 ceremony, and every year it's a very somber event. It's something that we have to do, we need to do, we must do it. And the mayor had asked if I wanted to speak, and I chose not to, and that may have been a mistake. So I thought about it afterwards, and I said, thinking about what I might have said then, and I'll say it now. My memories of 9/11, that day I woke up, went to work pretty angry because it was one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen, and I should have been golfing. But I went to work, I was the first one in. People started coming in a little before 9 o'clock, and my clerk said, "Hey, did you hear what happened?" I was like, "No, what happened? I'm working." And the plane just hit one of the towers. I said, "Get out of here." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, it must have been one of those small glider jets or something like that." Didn't know. I don't even know if we had the internet then, to tell you the truth, 24 years ago, so I'm not sure. At least we didn't have it in that office. And then a couple of minutes later, maybe a half hour later, he's listening to the radio. He says, "Another plane hit." And at that point, it hit me that something very, very evil was going on, that it wasn't just an accident. something, I didn't know what was going on, but I know it wasn't good. Kids were in school, wife at work. So I told everyone to leave, because to be honest with you, no one knew at that point. You got 2 planes hitting the most visible building in the world at that time. Who knows what else happened? I mean, what else would happen? You didn't know. So I told everyone, go home, be with your family. You know, in the days thereafter, you know, we all saw, and we've seen over the last 24 years, the horrific videos of what went on. So many people have lost their lives. A couple people that I know passed away, not at the, well, one person on that date, but several others from cancer, which they got afterwards. One very good friend of mine. We gathered around and we said, never forget. And on the days after that, there was no blacks or whites, Hispanics. There was no gays or straights. There's no Christian, Jews, Muslims. Everyone was an American. And we gathered together and we promised ourselves that we would stay together. We wouldn't forget, and we were one. And we have seen that it seems to be coming apart at the seams at this point, and it's getting worse and worse. And I probably said this speech before, maybe last year, the year before. And I'm hoping that it gets better, but it's just not. We all got together. We love America. America's full of our rights, our freedoms, and one of them is the freedom of speech. And we just saw that last week. A young man, you know, a son, a husband, and a father was assassinated because of what he said. Never hurt anybody physically, never did anything to harm anybody, but he said words. And some people took offense at those words. Well, one person in particular, and shot him dead in a cowardly act. 3 months before, whether you want, and this is not a left versus right speech, because 3 months before, Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, were stalked and shot because an individual did not believe in her views, the things that she was saying. She and her husband were murdered. It shouldn't be like that. And what I find is that you would think that something like that would galvanize a community or a country, but it did the opposite, because you've got people celebrating the murder of somebody, going on, making memes, videos, TV commentators. The man wasn't cold yet, and they're saying that he was responsible for his own death. It's just insane. So we happened, not we, but Saddlebrook residents organized a vigil at Town Hall, I believe it was last Friday evening, and to honor that young man. And other people that have, that went, and it was also 9/11, was the day after 9/11. And what really bothered the hell out of me was the comments on the internet and in chat groups about people saying the same things. This is Saddlebrook, and I could see some nut jobs out in Oklahoma having this hatred for certain people. But people were on the internet, most of them anonymous, talking about how it was a bad thing, he deserved it, he caused his own death. And it's just, I mean, I just had to say, I was saying, you know, America, we've got to do better. But then it's in my town. And it's just like, Saddlebrook, you got to do better. I mean, there's people out there. And I just don't understand that these people that I don't know if I'm having breakfast or lunch or dinner or talking to them at public meetings. And that's what they have in their heart. And it really sickens me that people can have those kind of evil thoughts, to think that someone should die for something that they say. Again, America, First Amendment. you've got the freedom of speech. Now, speech does have consequences, but those consequences should not include your death. There's no way that that should happen in America, and the fact that some people in our own little town here are thinking that it's good or that it was right for that man to lose his life because he espoused views that you didn't, it just, it makes me ill. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. I just have a couple of things to mention. I just want to mention the Township Picnic. It was a huge success. I think the way it was done, Mayor, was great. I think everybody got their food in a timely manner, and it was great, and the turnout was awesome, too. Do we have a number, Pete, that we attended that, the picnic?
No, yeah.
Okay. But I know there was hundreds of people there. It was run really well. Everything was great. I just want to recognize all of our sponsors up here on the board. Raphael, I don't know if you could show that to the people viewing from home. Just to give a shout out to those sponsors who contributed to our township picnic. I appreciate that. And I also want to mention the library and thank them for their support, not only giving a donation, but also for sponsoring the arts and crafts for our children. It was a wonderful thing that they did. I also attended the Friday Night Lights at the field, beautiful field. I want to commend the Board of Education for passing that referendum and getting that done. It was long overdue to get that field done. So I want to commend the Board of Education, and our children deserve it. So it's a wonderful thing. Thank you. Pete, ordinances?
Yes, at this time, we do have Councilwoman Mazur on the phone, so she should be participating. Thank you, Councilwoman. An ordinance of the Township of Santa County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to fix the salary and wages of employees, servants, or professional staff for the years 2025, 2026, and this is the white collar.
Okay, motion for a public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance, please step up to the microphone.
Yeah, this is 1787-25, second reading. I asked, and I think this is the third time, but we had a $460K increase in salaries and wages, and even if you take into account all the new patrolmen, police officers, and the promotions, you're still $250,000, $260K to $300,000. That's not being explained. So even with the promotions and the new patrolmen, you're $250,000 to $300K off. This is the third time in the last 90 days. I would like to know where $460K of spending for more salaries and wages from 2024 to 2025 to this 2025, 2026 went. Haven't had an answer since.
Okay. I don't know if that number is accurate. Jimmy?
Yeah, correct. I'm not sure either, but I would imagine that the only explanation would be just the contractual negotiated raises from the year to year, which. Yeah.
Anyone else wishing to address the council?
Through the chair,
Sure.
do you know how many employees we actually have altogether?
Off the top of my head, full-time, let's see, police have 40, maybe like a little under 100 full-time. And then all the part-time seasonals, you have crossing guards, which I'm not counting in that because they're part-time. You have the rec staff, which equate to a good amount. And then also you have special law enforcement officers, which are part-time, so.
Okay. Anyone else wish to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township of Southbrook, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to fix the salary and wages of employees, servants, or professional staff for the year 2025-2026, White Collar, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press.
Wait a minute, we didn't vote. We only voted to open to the public. They have to vote to adopt now.
That's what
We're
I'm
going
reading.
to.
Oh, okay.
We're going to.
Does now pass on second and final reading, that the township clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
Next ordinance for a second reading is ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook. Ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $30,000 for the preparation of a stormwater system map for a second reading. So we need a motion.
Motion for public hearing?
A second reading.
Second reading.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
An ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $30,000 for the preparation of a stormwater system map.
Motion for a public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $30,000 for the preparation of a stormwater system map, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
Next ordinance, final reading, a bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of the extension of water mains and related improvements at Maple, Spruce, Larch, and Pine Avenues in by and for the water utility of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $360,000 to pay the costs thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for a second reading.
Motion to give second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of the extension of water mains and related improvements at Maple, Spruce, Larch, and Pine Avenues in by and for the water utility of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $360,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Motion open to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, a bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of the extension of water mains and related improvements at Maple, Spruce, Larch, and Pine Avenues in by and for the water utility of the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $360,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
Bond ordinance 1790-25, final reading. A bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various park and recreation improvements in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $915,000 to pay the costs thereof, to appropriate a state grant to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for a second reading.
Motion to give second reading?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various park and recreation improvements in by for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $915,000 to pay the costs thereof, to appropriate a state grant to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Motion to open the meeting to the public for this ordinance.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close for this ordinance.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled A Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of Various Park and Recreation Improvements in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $915,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
1791-25 for a final reading. Bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and major repairs to a fire engine and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new communication and signal systems equipment, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $995,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for a second reading.
Motion to give second reading?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and major repairs to a fire engine and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new communication and signal systems equipment, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $995,000 and pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Motion to open the meeting to the public on this ordinance.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close.
Motion to close?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, A Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Making of Various Public Improvements and Major Repairs to a Fire Engine and the Acquisition of New Additional Replacement Equipment and Machinery, New Communication and Signal Systems Equipment, New Information Technology Equipment, and New Automotive Vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $995,000, to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
yes,
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
And first reading, ordinance 1792-25, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook, regulating the operation of specific classes of cannabis businesses within its geographical boundaries, be passed and adopted on first reading.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
yes,
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook, regulating the operation of specific classes of cannabis businesses within its geographical boundaries, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for a final passage at a meeting to be held on October 16, 2025, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Complex, 55 Mayhill Street, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of a time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Yes. Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
yes,
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
That completes the ordinances.
Thank you.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requests it, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
So I don't think I was here on August 7th. Are you reading that separately?
Are we doing August 7th?
Sure.
We're going to do August 7th separately.
Okay, so yes. Second. Sorry.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
yes,
Council President Garrick.
Yes.
We have the August 7, 2025 special public meeting.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman?
Roll
second, sorry,
roll call.
second,
Councilman Samaluka?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
yes,
Council President Garrick.
Yes. Thank you. Any old business?
Yes, I just want to
Mayor?
mention a couple of things I forgot. There was a roundtable meeting, which was given by Congresswoman Nellie Poe at the Marriott Hotel here in Saddlebrook on Friday morning, September 5th. She met with a bunch of local mayors in her district, and so we discussed, it was a good discussion on a variety of topics, so I was happy to be part of that. I also want to mention and wish the school district, the teachers, staff, students, everybody a successful school year. I want to mention to residents, the general public, please drive safely. Schools are open. And we want to make sure everybody's safe. And please try to cooperate with the crossing guards. They have a difficult job. Every year, we have a meeting, a training session before they start, and sometimes they get verbally abused. So please try to be as cooperative and as respectful as possible with the crossing guards. I also wanted to mention, that I failed to mention when I was talking about the water, I do regret not sending it out, but there was a savings, because anytime you send a letter out, number one, you got to worry that the post office gets it to you, because we've had a lot of problems with the post office and their mailings. But it would have cost a considerable amount of money to mail a letter out. I guess we could have put a sticker on the water bill. Maybe that would have been less money, but that might have been confusing too. But the last thing I want to say is I just want to say I agree. Mr. Stimaluka and I don't agree on everything, but I agree with what he had to say about Charlie Kirk. And I also want to say, I'm going to go a little further. I just feel that, you know what, regardless whether you liked or didn't like him, or you felt he was offensive, he was murdered, and you know what, not only is it deplorable that somebody would say he had it coming to him or anything like that. To me, it's also disrespectful, and I don't know, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, and I believe that when somebody dies, you know what, you should pray for them. Pray for them that they go to heaven. You know what, I hope people do that when I go. I got a lot of work to do to get up there, so, but, it's common decency. I mean, you know what, let the man rest. He's not even buried, and then people are bashing the heck out of him. Regardless, it's just not right. And one other thing that really annoys the heck out of me is the President of the United States. I don't care whether you like him, you don't like him, you're from a different party. I don't care. He's the President of the United States. He issues an order that the flags put at half staff. You put them at half staff. I don't, why do we question that? He's got the authority to do it. And it's not like he's asking to do it for a bad reason. He's doing it to, maybe you don't agree with it, but he's doing it to honor and show respect for somebody that he felt deserved that privilege. He's got the right. He's the president. So, to end the story. I don't know, maybe it's being a police officer, paramilitary, you follow orders. It's that simple. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else, old or new business? Okay, seeing no one else, let's open the meeting to public for agenda items only. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wish to address the council on agenda items?
Yeah, ordinance 1792-25, the first reading. The amending and supplementing 206 of the cannabis. Can someone just please explain what's being amended and supplemented? Those are operating hours, those are geographical restrictions, those are people going into a retail store and they're not allowed to smoke on the property, so they'll just drive down the street to a residential property. It's very vague here. We're going to have 9 facilities in a 2.4 square mile town. I don't know why this wasn't done 6, 12, 18 months ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council on agenda items? Seeing no one else, motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Jimmy, would you like to comment on?
I can address that.
okay.
So previously, the governing body amended the ordinance with respect to the size of the building for manufacturing, because what they learned, and again, this is all new to many municipalities, is that for a manufacturing facility, you need a decent size room to make it financially feasible. So that was increased to 12,000, to allow up to 12,500 square feet. The governing body then learned that the same was true for cultivation, that in order to have someone make a business economically feasible, that you needed a space of up to 12,500 square feet. So the only change in this amendment is to increase the space up to 12,500 square feet. There's no other change in the ordinance other than that for cultivation.
Thank you. Okay. Motion to adjourn the meeting tonight?
Comments? Did you want final comments?
Hold on. Any final comments?
Just a few. Couple of things. Number one, there's not 9 cannabis facilities in town. We authorized or gave resolutions of approval, or our ordinance, resolution support. We didn't give it to 9 different organizations. What we did was we allowed for up to 3 retail, up to 3 manufacturing, and up to 3 cultivation. As of this time, I believe that there was only 1 resolution of support that was sought for manufacturing, correct me if I'm wrong, and that, I believe, is being withdrawn. So right now, what we're left with is 1 potential cultivation facility and 3 potential retail facilities. I forgot to mention, at that 9/11 ceremony, I want to thank Congresswoman Nellie Poe and Assemblywoman Lisa Swain for taking time out of their busy schedule. I know 9/11 is a date where all elected officials are running from place to place to talk to their constituents and give their condolences to the deceased and their families. So thank you for attending. And lastly, every year I attend, and most, if not all, of the council and the mayor go to the League of Municipalities Convention in Atlantic City for a few days. And we always go to the JIF hearing. JIF is our insurance fund that covers a lot of different municipalities. And they give a presentation. Actually, the town, I think we get $250 or $300 off our membership or our dues or premiums for everybody that attends. So it's informative, and we save the town some money. And every year it's the same thing. They always ask the same question. And do you know what the #1 employee or class of employees that have the highest rate of injury of anybody in state, local, county government work? And it's always the same answer. It's crossing guards. So again, as the mayor said, be careful. They do have a very dangerous job. So just be careful out there. I know it's hard. You want to get your kids to school. I know on my block, every day my wife comes here and says there's people parked within 2 inches of the stop sign and they're blocking driveways. I know we have Ms. Zattarelli here. She lives next to a school, so she understands the trials and tribulations of having a property that's right near a school. But the crossing guards are just there to help your kids and help you. So just be kind to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I just wanted to thank Councilwoman Mazur for participating tonight and hope she feels better. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Final comments? No other final comments? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you.